Hello guys. So today we are gonna be learning some basics about trigonometry. I'd like to apologize in advance for some inconsistent, unprofessionalistic behavior because I'm not that professional of a person, but I'm trying to be. Anyway, that's enough rant. So we're gonna be learning what's trigonometry, what are the basics, and what's the concept of trigonometry. So basically, trigonometry is a branch of mathematics that deals with right angle triangles. Okay, so that means that trigonometry is applicable only on right angle triangles, and it is not applicable on other type of triangles, namely obtuse or acute or whatever the other types. So if it's a random triangle like this one, a scalene triangle or an acute triangle, trigonometry is not applicable. Boom, it's not applicable. So you can only apply trigonometric relationships on triangles that are right angle, that have a 90-degree angle in them. Alright, fascinating. Now, what are the different parts of a right angle triangle? So in this figure, as you see, let me zoom in for better observation. We've got 90-degree, okay, and the side that's opposite to 90-degree, okay, the angle 90-degree is gonna be called as hypotenuse. So I remember most people, they have confusion. They like identify this side or this side as hypotenuse, but it's quite easy. You look for 90 and the side opposite to that is hypotenuse. Easy peasy. All right. And now the other two sides, some people name them as base and perpendicular. All right. And some in other books or teachers, they also call these sides as opposite and adjacent, short form as ADG or adjacent. Alright, so why do we call this as opposite or adjacent? What's the reason is, there is something called an angle, a random angle, theta, okay. It's a variable angle. We don't know what's the value of this angle. So it can be 45, it can be 30, it can be 18, it can be, I don't know, any value which is less than 90. All right. So this angle, if it's here, it can be either here or here. It cannot be over here because this is 90. So if it's at A, then the side opposite to this angle is gonna be called as opposite side, or you can call it perpendicular. I prefer opposite, so I'm gonna be using opposite in my entire video. And the angle, the side which is touching the angle, the side which is touching the angle, which is adjacent to the angle, is called adjacent. Simple, right? Alright, that's cool. So this angle, as I said, it can be either here or it can be here. And if it is put over here, theta, then this side will become opposite. So you're gonna change that as opposite. And the side touching to that angle is gonna be adjacent. So how do you start? You start with hypotenuse. First you identify hypotenuse, which is going to be opposite to the 90-degree angle. This is hypotenuse. This is the default. This never changes. And the angle which you have on either side, A or C or P or Q, whatever names you have used in your diagram, the side opposite to that is going to be opposite, and the side touching that angle, adjacent to that angle, is called adjacent. Alright, so continuing again. So now we know what are the different sides. So you can either call this as opposite and adjacent and A and O. I like to call them A and O and H. Easy. So we have this theorem called Pythagoras theorem, and you have to know at least the basic formula and know how to solve a simple problem of a Pythagoras theorem. Okay, first let's state what's Pythagoras theorem. I don't know if I remember the name, the spelling of the name. Pythagoras? Is it Pythagoras? Whatever it is. Pythagoras theorem. Now it says that hypotenuse square is equal to opposite square plus adjacent square. Easy, simple. So the biggest side, which is hypotenuse squared, will be equal to the addition of the other two sides, which are squared again. So simple. So most people have trouble remembering this formula. So if you are unable to remember this, just remember the letters. H square is equal to O square plus A square. And H stands for hypotenuse, O stands for opposite, and A stands for adjacent. Simple. Alright, now after that, let's solve a simple Pythagoras theorem problem so that we are able to find the unknown side of a triangle. For example, I'm gonna assume a problem. Okay, this is a problem. We are given a right angle triangle. This is something like this. All right, it's not perfect. We've got 90 degree here. All right, and now let's name it as P, Q and R. Okay, PQR, ABC or PQR, whatever. Now we have given the values to be 25 and 9, and the third value is unknown. We don't know. All right, so now they are asking us to find what is QR. Now this is not the only way the question can be represented in exam. They can either say that in a right angle triangle, right angle at Q, PR is equal to 25 and PQ is equal to 9. Find the value of QR. Alright, okay, fascinating. Now, so basically you are going to be finding QR and you're going to be using Pythagoras theorem, which is hypotenuse square is equal to opposite square plus adjacent square, or H square is equal to O square plus A square. Either one. Either you use this formula or this formula. Okay, either one of two. So now, in order to substitute the values in this problem, so you have to identify what are these sides over here. All right, so let's assume our theta to be here, since the question they haven't defined where theta is, so we can assume it either here or there. So let's assume it over here. So the side opposite to 90 degree is gonna be called hypotenuse. This side adjacent to theta is called adjacent, and the side opposite to the theta is called opposite. So you know what are the sides. So PQ and whatever these things. All right, now let's substitute the values. Hypotenuse square. What is hypotenuse? It is 25. So you're gonna be substituting 25, and it has a square, so you put a square. Now that is equal to opposite square. So opposite is the value we don't know, so either you can write it as opposite as it is, or O square as it is, or in some problems they assume the side which is QR, so you write QR whole square. Both ways are correct. All right, you can go with opposite square over here, or you can write QR. Both ways, both the methods are same. And you've got the plus and then A square. A square is adjacent square. Adjacent square, the value of adjacent is 9, so you write 9 instead of adjacent, and it has a square, so you write square. Easy. Alright, now you just multiply. Square means it's not like 25 twos or 9 twos, a simple common mistake done by most people, so you don't do that. Square means you multiply that number twice, so that means 25 into 25. What is 25 into 25? It's a simple multiplication. The answer is gonna be 625, but for people who don't know how to multiply, I'm gonna do this, and for people who know multiplication, please skip 4 to 5 seconds. 5 into 5 is 25, so you write 5 and the 2 is carried to the next number. Alright, 25. Now 5 into 2, so the first number you multiply with both. 5 into 5 is 25, then 5 into 2, 5 twos is 10, 10 plus the carried number is 2, 10 plus 2 is 12, you write 12. Alright, now you write across below the first number and then you continue. 2 fives is 10, 0 is written and 1 is carried. 2 twos is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. Alright, 5 plus cross is 0, 5 plus 0 is 5, 2 plus 0 is 2, 1 plus 5 is 6. You got 625. Alright, so that's how you get 625, and then equals QR is written as is, and 9 into 9, 9 nines is 81. Alright, now you need to find the value of the unknown term, which is QR. Alright, so in order to find that, the side on which QR is, which is the right hand side. If you don't know what is left hand side and right hand side, we've got equals in an equation. The side on to the left side of the equals is left hand side. The side which is on the left side of equals is left hand side, and the side which is right hand side is towards the right side of the equal. Simple mathematics. Okay, so back to this side. QR square plus 81, so you need to find the value of QR. So the QR is on the right hand side. Now your goal is that there shouldn't be any variable or multiple or a number, anything towards the right hand side except for QR. Alright, that's how you find the value of QR. Simple. So we've got QR square and we've got 81. So first we have to get rid of 81 to find the value of QR. So how are you gonna get rid of it? You just shift it towards the left hand side. Alright, let me change the color, and you're just like shifting it towards the left hand side. It is shifted towards the left hand side. Alright, so whenever a term is shifted towards the left hand side, its sign is changed. Alright, plus becomes minus and minus becomes plus. So plus 81 is shifted towards the left hand side and it becomes 625 plus 81. If it is shifted, it's gonna be written next to 625 and the sign of it will be negative. So plus 81 became minus 81. And after that we've got this equals, we write that equals, and after that we've got this QR square, we write that QR square. We don't miss any number from the above line. Everything should be there. Everything should be there, the signs and everything. And now you subtract 625 minus 81. 625 minus 81. 5 minus 1 is 4. We'll borrow 1 and it becomes 12. 12 minus 8 is 4 again. And alright, so we've got 544. So this value is going to be 544 equals QR square. Alright, now we've got QR square. We have to get rid of everything, and there must be only QR towards the side where QR is. So you get rid of square as well. So how do you get rid of it? Simple. You shift it. So when you shift the square towards the left hand side, the square turns into root. Alright, and vice versa. If the root is shifted towards the right hand side, it becomes square. Plus is shifted to the other side, it becomes minus. Minus becomes plus. Multiplication becomes division. Division becomes multiplication. Alright, back to this. So 544 is equal to QR. This is the answer. Alright, we're not gonna solve the root of 544. That is a sum for another day. So that's how you find the value of the unknown side of a right angle triangle. Now we know how to use Pythagoras theorem. Now we know what is the formula for Pythagoras theorem. Now we know what is hypotenuse, what is opposite and adjacent. Now let's continue to trigonometry again. Alright, so basically in trigonometry you must know this table. So in order for you to know this table, you should know what are these things and what are these things. Just sine theta, cos theta, tan theta, and you must know what is theta. Alright, most people, they're talking about theta. What is theta? Most students don't know how to define theta, how to like use theta. What is theta? So theta has brothers. They're called alpha, beta, gamma, omega. All these are basically variables to define angles. What are angles? Angles are 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree. The things that you see on your protractor. What is a protractor? A scale which is a semicircular scale which has angles over it. This is a protractor. Okay, I'm going way too deep, I know. Alright, so what is theta now? It is basically a variable like x, y and z, but instead of x, y, z to define angles, we usually prefer theta, alpha, beta, gamma, etc. That's it. And now we've got simple formulas for the trigonometric functions of trigonometry. We've got total 6 trigonometric functions. They are called sine theta, cos theta, tan theta. Now the formula for each one is quite simple, and they're called, the first one is opposite by hypotenuse, adjacent by hypotenuse, opposite by adjacent. Now why am I writing this? I could have said you guys to just like go find a textbook, yeah, and look for these formulas and just memorize them. No, I want to help you memorize these formulas. Now, so you just memorize the first two, which is sine and cos, and it is opposite by hypotenuse and adjacent by hypotenuse. Alright, let's draw a triangle so that it's easier to understand. Hypotenuse, opposite and adjacent. So the first two formulas are very simple. You just divide opposite by the biggest line and the adjacent by the biggest line, and you get this formula. And if this is difficult, you can also write it as O by H and A by H. Makes it even simpler, saves your ink, saves your money. Yeah. And now for the third formula, you get it from the first two. You write it in this order: sine by cos. Alright, sine and then cos. And now opposite is written on top, and the second formula has adjacent that is written on bottom. Simple. O by A. O divided by A. So that means that when sine and cos are divided, we get tan. So that's another formula which is related to these formulas. So how do you get tan? Tan theta is equal to sine theta by cos theta. How simple is that? Right? Sine and cos, you just write the numerators. That means sine divided by cos gives you tan. Simple. Alright. Now, the other two, so I said there are total 6 trigonometric functions and I have named only 3. So what are the other 3? The other 3 are cosecant, which is called cosec, and secant, which is called sec, and cot, which is called cotangent. Tan is called tangent and cot is called cotangent, but you just say cot. Alright. Now, these formulas, no need to memorize them. You can get them from the above 3 formulas. How simple. Trigonometry is very simple. Alright. Now, the condition is that you write them in these order: cosecant and then secant and then cot. Now, once you've got this order in line, sine, cos, tan, cosecant, secant, cot, now the other 3 formulas. The first formula, opposite by hypotenuse, you just write it again, but instead of writing opposite by hypotenuse, you reciprocal it, which is hypotenuse by opposite. Simple. You're writing the first formula, but you're just writing the opposite of what is written. If it is opposite by hypotenuse, you write hypotenuse by opposite. Same thing for the second one, you write it again, but reciprocal it. Hypotenuse by adjacent, which is A by H becomes H by A. Simple. Again, tan, third formula, it is written again and it's reciprocal. Adjacent by opposite, which is A by O. So what this means again now is that these 3 are connected to these 3. How are they connected? Sine is the reciprocal of cosecant. Cos is the reciprocal of secant. Tan is the reciprocal of cotangent or cot. How simple. Okay. Alright. Now, these are the 6 trigonometric functions and you have to memorize each and every one of them. At least these ones, these ones, these ones, these ones. So I've given the simplest method of memorizing it: sine, cos, tan, opposite by hypotenuse, adjacent by hypotenuse, and the third formula you get from the first 2, and the other 3 you get from the top 3. You just reciprocal them. That's all. Cool. Now, after this, now you know what are sine, cos, and tan, and cosecant, secant, and cot. Now we can understand what this table is. Alright, this table, it's got sine theta, it's got 0 degree. So again, it's like mathematic tables which you have. 2 1s are 2, 2 2s are 4, but it's specific for trigonometry and it includes angles inside. Alright, angles. Now how you gonna memorize this? You just memorize the first line, sine theta, and you memorize this order: 0, 30, 45, 60, 90. Isn't that easy? Just memorize the angles: 0, then 30, then 45, then 60, then 90. And once you've done that, sine 0 is gonna be 0, sine 30 is gonna be 1 by 2, sine 45 is gonna be 1 by root 2, sine 60 is gonna be root 3 by 2, sine 90 is gonna be 1. So you just have to memorize the first line, first 2 lines of this table, and the third line comes by itself. How is that possible? You write cos theta and you write the first line again but in the opposite direction. 0 over here, 1 by 2 over here, 1 by root 2 remains there, in that order, and root 3 by 2 after 1 by root 2 and 1 after root 3 by 2. It's the same line written in the opposite direction. Simple. Now, for the third line, how do you get the third line? Tan theta. You just write the numbers again. 0 by 1 is 0, right? And you just write the numerators. That's it. 1 by root 3. In the top line we've got 1. In the next line we've got root 3. You just take that 1 and root 3. You've got it. You got 1 by 1 is 1. Root 3 by 1, you just divide the numerators. Root 3 by 1, root 3 by 1 is 1. 1 by 0 is not defined. So 0 by 1 is 0, 1 by 0 is not defined. Not defined or infinity. Whatever you want to consider. So that's how you get the first 3 lines. First 3 lines, the simplest way of finding the first 3 lines. Now, that's all. You've done it. The rest of the 3 lines, you just copy paste. How do you do that again? First line, you write it again, but reciprocal it. A reciprocal of 0 is not defined. 1 by 2 becomes 2. 1 by root 2 becomes root 2. Root 3 by 2 becomes 2 by root 3. 1 by 1 is 1 by 1. So basically you're just reciprocaling. Cos, the next line, 1 by 1 is 1. Root 3 by 2 it becomes 2 by root 3. 1 by root 2 becomes root 2 or root 2 by 1. Same case in the third line as well. 0 becomes not defined. 1 by root 3 becomes root 3. 1 becomes 1. Root 3 is 1 by root 3. You just reciprocal it. That's it. Simple. So this is the mere basic of trigonometry. To understand simple concept like simple basic problems, to solve basic problems of trigonometry. So I hope that was helpful, and please do let me know what kind of difficulties you guys are facing in the comment section so that I may help you all again, and let's meet in the next video. And if you like the video, you know what to do. Like it, and if you don't like it, then you can do whatever. Bye bye. Subscribe.